Hey, do you live in California? If so, I need you to vote yes on Proposition 50. That's the special election happening right now, and it ends on November 4th. If you live in any other blue state, I need you to contact your Democratic legislators and ask them to do the same thing California is doing. And if you live in a red or purple state, call your representatives and tell them to fight back. Or just bother them if they're Republicans, just annoy them. Okay, so 2 years ago, I made this video about gerrymandering and how bad it is here in the United States. If you missed that video, allow me to give you the summary. Gerrymandering is the practice of drawing up district maps in ways that are unfair to one of the two major political parties here in the United States. Here is a chart showing how you can turn a 60% advantage for blue to a 100% advantage for blue, or even a 60% advantage to red. In that video, I pointed to recently published research that found that gerrymandering is rampant across the United States and that it is biased towards Republicans, giving them 2 extra seats on the national level in the U.S. House of Representatives. But Democrats do it as well, and the researchers found that regardless of who is doing it, gerrymandering reduces electoral competition and makes the partisan composition of the U.S. House less responsive to shifts in the national vote. Because when a politician knows that their seat is safe, they are less likely to actually do their jobs and represent the interests of their constituents. So that was 2023, now it's 2025. Why am I telling you to ignore all that and tell your Democratic legislators to gerrymander the fuck out of their state? Well, I don't actually want you to ignore that research. I want you to remember it. It's very important that you remember it. That takeaway that even when Democrats do it, gerrymandering is bad for democracy. It lessens democracy. But currently, it is the Republicans who have established a fascist authoritarian state, and they're trying to keep it that way. And those of us who would like to eventually claw our way back into a democracy must use every tool available to us. And gerrymandering is one of those tools. To recap, the Republicans in Texas have started redistricting their state in response to a request from Donald Trump to negate the votes of Democrats and take up to 5 seats away from them. So California's governor, Gavin Newsom, responded to that by launching this special election, which would pause our state's bipartisan independent commission that ensures election fairness and now allow legislators to redraw the maps for the next 3 elections until 2030. At that point, it would go back to the bipartisan independent commission to redraw the maps. This would essentially take seats from Republicans and give them to Democrats here in California, which would offset what they're doing in Texas. Then the Republicans in Missouri responded to this by gerrymandering Kansas City, splitting up liberal black voters and absorbing them into safe Republican districts. But unlike Texas, voters in Missouri actually have the right to block unpopular legislation using what's called the people's veto. So a group called People Not Politicians Missouri are gathering signatures to get the referendum on the ballot, and in an action that in any other year would be considered wildly undemocratic, the Missouri State General is suing the voters for trying to stop the representatives from forcing their will upon the people. Just incredible shit. The funny thing is that it is technically illegal for states to gerrymander in an explicitly racist way. In Utah, for instance, legislators ignored an independent bipartisan commission anointed by voters, and they split up the black vote in Salt Lake City. And the Utah Supreme Court acknowledged that, yeah, you can't do that. Texas is also facing legal challenges to their proposed new plan, which means that they might not be able to get all 5 seats that they want. So when it comes to gerrymandering at the moment, it seems that the Democrats might be winning. Polls show that Yes on 50 is very popular in California, which means that Dems might actually gain a seat or 2 when everything shakes out. That's why it's important for us voters to pester the shit out of our representatives and go through with this gerrymandering. But we must remember the research that shows this will ultimately be a bad thing. Proposition 50 is temporary. So if we succeed in pulling the U.S. back into democracy in a few years, we agree to let the Republicans have their representatives back. It's like using a helicopter to rescue someone from a flood. Once they're safe, they don't just keep commuting everywhere by helicopter. Those things are dangerous. Ride the subway, you weirdo. Anyway, if things are looking so rosy for the Democrats' gerrymandering efforts, why am I encouraging you to keep on this, to go annoy your Congress critters? Because things are, in fact, looking very, very bad. And you might already guess the reason. It's the fucking Supreme Court of the United States. FSCOTUS. This week, FSCOTUS reheard two cases known collectively as Louisiana v. Clay, and the reporters monitoring the court are saying that it sounds like the authoritarian-led panel is going to go ahead and use this as an opportunity to destroy the final salient section of the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 of the VRA is what ended the Jim Crow era in the United States because it finally enshrined the rights of minorities to have their voices heard, prohibiting the purposeful redrawing of electoral maps to negate their votes. This was particularly effective in the South, where most Black people in the United States live. The central question of this Supreme Court case is whether or not Louisiana had the right to create a second majority Black district. The opponents are claiming that doing so actually violated Section 2 of the VRA because the state purposely did it to give Black people more representation, which white voters argue is actually racist. So they're using the VRA to get FSCOTUS to obliterate the VRA, which would send the U.S. back to a time when racial minorities were denied the right to vote. All those southern states will immediately redraw their districts to exclude minorities who typically vote Democrat. According to the groups Fair Fight Action and Black Voters Matter, up to 25 to 30% of the Congressional Black Caucus and as much as 11% of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus could lose their seats. Nationwide, this could help the GOP secure an additional 27 U.S. House safe Republican seats when compared to the 2024 House maps. At least 19 directly tied to the loss of Section 2, enough to lock in one-party control of the U.S. House. And when they say lock in, they mean for the next generation. So if the court reporters are correct and SCOTUS is about to obliterate the VRA, things could be very, very bad for the next several decades. States like Texas, where voters are using the VRA to fight back against the racist gerrymandering, would suddenly be able to do whatever they want to their maps. And that's why I'm encouraging you to tell your Democratic representatives that you want them to fight back, and fuck it, you want them to fight dirty. Use gerrymandering. Gerrymander the ever-loving fuck out of those blue states. Remove representation from the people who don't want representation for anyone but themselves, the people who want a fascist king. Which brings me to my final request. Saturday, October 18th is my birthday, and it is also the day of the next nationwide No Kings protest. Visit nokings.org to find the closest protest happening near you. And remember that even if SCOTUS rules against democracy, all is not lost. We can still fight back. We will continue to fight back regardless of what happens. Protesters in Portland and Chicago have had a lot of success fighting back using humor. And, you know, if things get spicy on Saturday, please revisit my video from June about how to deal with tear gas and other state-sanctioned weapons that the Gestapo uses against U.S. citizens. Please stay safe and help save democracy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebecca and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.